Hi and welcome to cheekyricho's boiled fruit cake and plum pudding cake pops. Both of these come from the one recipe and the ingredients will be in the recipe box below. Now let's get started.
We'll be using the ThermoChef to boil our fruit, and we'll allow it to sit overnight in the syrup to absorb all of the flavours. To the ThermoChef bowl we are going to add our butter, coconut, a desiccated coconut, our brown sugar, our plum jam, our mixed spice, and our water. We're going to set the temperature to 90 degrees for 2 minutes on speed 2 to melt the butter and mix the jam and the sugar into a syrup. Now our syrup is bubbly hot. We are now going to add our fruit and our almonds. Mind, don't burn yourself here. And our almonds. And just speed 1 on 100 degrees for 3 minutes. We're just going to scrape down the sides to make sure all the coconut and the spices are down into the bottom where they should be. Make sure nothing's caught around the blades. We're going to boil it 100 degrees, speed 1 for another 2 minutes. This smells amazing. Really spicy and fragrant. Another little stir around. In with our rum carefully. Wow. And then in with our bicarbonate of soda. And just give it a stir around now. It'll go all fizzy and frothy. Don't worry too much about that. That's what it's supposed to do. And now we're going to leave it to completely cool before we add our eggs and our flour. So just pop the lid on and let it do its magic. Our boiled fruit cake mix has been macerating overnight in all of its syrup. The fruit is very, very soft, very, very delicate, and much too fragile to be continuing the mixing with a ThermoChef. You'd be able to squash these sultanas and raisins between your fingers. So to preserve the integrity of the fruit, we are going to add our eggs and fold those through. Then add our flours and just fold that through. That's the plain flour, and here's the self-raising flour. And just fold those through. This is a rich, dense mix. Be very moist. You could have this warmed up with custard if you want to, even pudding-like in texture. We are going to put some into our cake pop tin and the rest into our cake tin. We're going to fill our cake pop tin to the center line. Bake it in a very slow oven for about 20 minutes. Because the cake pop tin has a hole in the top level of it, you will be able to insert a skewer into the center of it to ensure that the cake pop is cooked. We are going to decorate them like little Christmas puddings. They will be delicious. And that's about what we're looking for. We put our cake pop top on, which has also had a light spray of cooking oil, just onto the top like so, and using our little silicone clips, hold it together. Slow oven, about 20 minutes. Now we have a silicone cake pan. We are going to put the rest of our cake mixture into that pan, and we always put a silicone cake pan onto a baking tray because it makes it easier to manage. It holds its shape because By its nature, the silicone is quite pliable. Now what we're going to do, as we do with all fruit cakes, is make an indentation in the center of it, so that if it does rise slightly, the rising will occur in the center and take up the indentation. We are also going to get a little water in a bowl, and just with our fingers sprinkle a bit of water onto the top. And what this does, it stops it from cracking and drying out. It presses any air bubbles out of it as well. And any exposed fruit on the top which doesn't actually have any cake mixture over it, it will prevent that from burning. Even in a slow oven, that will burn. So just push it down in the center, force it out to the edges, and that is ready to go into the oven, a slow oven again. I'm going to check it after 1 hour. But it will benefit from probably another 30. Our cake pops are fresh from the oven after 22 minutes. A skewer inserted in the center comes out clean. It's time to remove the little silicone clips on the ends and tip our cake pops out so they can cool. So just lift top off and tip them out. They release very easily. Very clever little tin actually. Okay, after 1.5 hours, our fruit cake is fresh from the oven. A skewer inserted in the center comes out clean. There's nothing, no cake residue. It's also come away from the sides of the tin. We're going to leave that to cool in the tin. Hi, and welcome to Cheeky Richo's decorating of our plum pudding cake pops. The ingredients will be in the recipe box below. The first thing we're going to do is get our chocolate buddies and melt them on half power in the microwave for about a minute. Now don't forget, chocolate holds its shape in the microwave and you need to stir it during the cooking process to ensure you don't overcook it. And make sure the bowl is very dry when you use it, because any water introduced to the chocolate. Okay, our chocolate has melted and it's quite thick and smooth. A little hint when working with this chocolate is to just drop a couple of unflavoured drops of oil. Just a couple of drops, maybe 2 mils, and stir it in. What this will do, it will impart a really shiny gloss to the chocolate and it will stop it setting too hard. So when you bite into it, it won't crack and break off like happens when you bite into a chocolate coated ice cream. So we're going to get our cake pop sticks, select a cake pop, dip our stick into the chocolate and then push it into the bottom of the cake pop. Now what that will do is it will cement it into place. Then we're going to smear our chocolate all over the cake pop, cover the bottom of the stick too, there's no problem. There you have it. Stand it in a glass. I'm actually in the process of having a stand made to hold the cake pops while they're being decorated. Display them whilst they're being served. So that's it. One little cake pop. Now just pop them in a glass so that it doesn't touch anything else. And on to the next one. Into the chocolate. Into the cake pop, hold them in place and coat it with the chocolate. Just coat it all over. Take off any excess. Stand it in a glass. Okay, our dozen plum pudding cake pops have been coated in chocolate, and we are going to set them aside to cool and set. Whilst that's happening, we are going to get our spearmint leaves and cut them to make little leaves to go on top of our plum puddings. So just get your spearmint leaf, cut it in half lengthways, cut it in half again, and then split it nearly all the way through so that you can open it out like so. Split it nearly all the way. You see that? So you can open it out. It's a very sharp knife, I've got to be careful here. Open it out like so. And you need to make 12 of those. Okay, it's time to decorate our plum pudding cake pops. The chocolate is quite hard now. We'll just pop them back into our homemade stand, and we're going to get our white chocolate buddies and just melt them in the microwave on half power until they're quite liquid. Okay, our white chocolate has melted now. It's quite smooth. We are going to get a small amount of it and just drizzle it over the top of our cake pop. Then we are going to get some of our little mint leaves that we prepared earlier, open them out and stick them on top like so, and then pop a little cherry in as well. Now that is what you have, a little plum pudding cake pop, and we are going to continue with the rest of them. So a little drizzle of chocolate over the top, making sure it looks like it's run down the sides as if it was pudding and custard or pudding and cream. On with our, you see that? On with our little mint leaf that's been split like a leaf. Just press that in like so and pop on a cherry. Another little cake pop. And put it to one side. And continue with the rest. And there you have it. 12 pretty little cake pops, plum pudding cake pops, and one respectably sized fruit cake from the one recipe. This is truly a budget-friendly Christmas treat. I hope you enjoyed this little video demonstration. If you'd like to see more interesting recipes and ideas, please check out my Cheeky Richo channel, and don't forget to leave a comment and subscribe. Do come back and visit us again soon. We have so much more to show you. And thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely day. Let's see what these little guys look like inside. Just like that. Very moist. Quite easy to eat like that.